So a few months ago when I was in Thailand, I got bitten by a dog and I had to take the rabies vaccine. And I want to share a little bit about that today because it was quite an ordeal and I've been sick for several months after the vaccine. And I want to share a little bit about why I think that is and my thoughts on vaccines in general. Alright, so let's try to make a pretty long story fairly short. First of all, what happened? Well, a few months ago when I was in Thailand, I was out for a run and I was pretty much done running. I was just walking home and suddenly I felt something at my leg. I looked down and there was a dog there, bit me a little bit. Nothing serious. The dog was crazy. I had to sort of spar with the dog in order to avoid it attacking me again, sort of kicking at it and trying to get away from it. That was quite a stressful ordeal, but I got away from the whole thing with no major injuries. But it wasn't even a real bite, but it was a little nip. I noticed though that it had gone through the skin, so there was a little bit of blood, not pouring out, but like it was red. So the skin barrier was broken, and that means there's a risk of rabies. So I went online, I searched a little bit, and it seemed, yes, pretty much, if the dog has rabies, which is unlikely, but if it has rabies, there's quite a possibility of infection from a wound like that, and you better take the vaccine, as well as the immunoglobulin, which is the immediate. Basically the vaccine gives you long-term protection, but for those first few days, you need some of those antibodies. You need some of those immediately, so that's when you get an immunoglobulin shot for the first day. Anyway, I was very reluctant. I was just, I don't want to take vaccines. I've had experiences in the past with vaccines, and I'm pretty sure that they've fucked up my health real bad. You never quite know, of course, but I was really, really reluctant. But then, I was faced with the dilemma: if this dog has rabies and I get infected, I will die. Pretty much everyone dies of rabies. It's a very, very severe disease. So I didn't want to die, even though it was unlikely that the dog had rabies. I didn't want to die in case it had rabies. I thought, okay, even if I do get negative effect from the vaccine, it's still worth it if it means surviving. So it was a hard decision to make, but I just thought, I'm not gonna run that risk. I'm not gonna risk dying of rabies. So, and there is a possibility in Thailand, a dog there, and it was acting crazy, so who knows, maybe it did have rabies. I decided to go ahead. So it was basically first an immunoglobulin shot. I also got a tetanus shot, which is probably a good idea. And then I had 5 injections of rabies vaccine of the type Vero-Rab. There are different types out there. This is and of course it's not vegan either. Most vaccines are made in like brain tissue or nervous system tissue from other animals, and it's fucked up. I don't like the idea of doing that, but I was there. I felt like I was in a survival situation where it's like, either I do this and I live with my choices, or I don't take the vaccine, which is a better choice ethically in terms of the animals, and it's a better choice in terms of my health, unless there was a possibility of being infected with rabies, which of course means I'm gonna die. So I took the vaccine. That was my choice, and I'm happy about my choice, even though the consequences were quite severe. Okay, so over the course of a month, I got 5 shots. Day 1, day 3, day 7, day 14, and day 28. After each shot, after the first few shots, I felt a little bit like flu-like symptoms for a day, maybe. That's all, But then increasingly, after vaccine number 4, I felt sick. I felt like I had this serious bout of flu. I was feeling really bad. I was in Bangkok. We were waiting for our parents to come because they were going to visit us for a few weeks. It was at the end of our stay in Thailand which was in April. So I felt quite sick after the number 4. After number 5 though, that was the day before we left Thailand, I continued being sick from the last vaccine. I felt even sicker after the 5th vaccine. When I say sick, I mean just totally fucked up, like totally wasted in terms of like tired, feverish feeling. I think I even had a fever, low-grade fever, which is normal because this is essentially what a vaccine does. It triggers your immune system to create antibodies and all this, which is what it is being sick. You know, when you got the flu, you're feeling like you are because the immune system is working, building antibodies. So it's to expect, but I was feeling very sick. I don't know. I guess my immune system is very strong due to a healthy lifestyle, so I get a stronger reaction. It's known that some people have hypersensitive immune systems, which essentially means that they have really strong immune systems that react really strongly when they need to. Anyway, I was feeling sick, but there was another symptom as well that occurred. This happened a few days before, and then it happened again on the plane home. And that is my heart started acting up. I started getting what's known later. I found out that this is known as extrasystolic beats, meaning the heart is beating, and then from some other region in the heart, which isn't really supposed to generate electrical currents to create the beats, suddenly creates this extra current, and it gets like an extra heartbeat, and then following that extra heartbeat there's a pause which feels like the heart is stopping, and that's why it feels alarming, and then it starts again. So I was on the plane and I was having these dunk 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 dunk, it was, my heart was beating, and then suddenly it just like stopped and there was no beats, and then it come back a little bit harder, and it was just like I thought my heart was stopping and starting again. Which is not what really was going on, but anyway, it's alarming, it's not fun. I had almost like a panic attack on the plane home. It was terrible. For the whole plane ride home I was having this activity, and of course I got scared, which further created a worse problem because adrenaline further aggravates the problem. So that was my plane ride home. Horrible. And I was sick at the same time. I have low-grade fever, feeling terrible after the vaccine. And of course this is because of the vaccine, there's no doubt. It was clearly increasing for each of the 5 shots that I took, and peaking at the last 2. Then I got home to Norway. Thank God. It was better to be in Norway, safe, cool, than in Thailand. Being sick in Thailand wasn't really that much fun. And then it's been a journey basically, because without going into all the details, I basically ended up being sick for 3 months. It's now August, and this happened in April, the vaccines, the shots, and still to this day in August, which is May, June, July, 4 months later, I'm still having issues with my heart. It's much better than it was, but I'm still having issues. I've been to the doctor, obviously, several times. First to check out is there anything else going on? Do I have an infection? Because if we rewind a little bit, I guess, the first month after coming home, I was probably as sick as I've ever been in my whole life. I was on the couch. I had serious blood sugar issues. Didn't matter how I ate. I don't have blood sugar issues, but I had them then. My blood sugar was, anyway, this is subjective, this is my opinion. I think it was blood sugar. I also think I had problems with my blood pressure. It was just all over the place. I felt terrible. I was shivering. I remember having my phone next to me with like getting ready to call an ambulance if I needed to. I felt like I was gonna faint any moment. I couldn't function. I was just on the couch for a month. Luckily I had so many videos from Thailand that I could just trickle them out one after one, so the channel was sort of kept going. So while you were watching all the videos from Thailand, I was actually really sick here in Norway. So that first month was brutal, and I had so many heart extra systolic, like each beat you can count as one, right? Each extra beat, and I had thousands, within 24 hours. Thousands upon thousands, 7,000, 10,000, I don't know. Several times a minute I had these extra beats, and I can feel it in my heart. It feels very uncomfortable. It kept going like that. For the first month it was terrible. I was really sick. I was scared. I thought I was gonna die. I was like, fuck, I've got this. It's fucked up my nervous system, you know, this vaccine. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna be one of those, I don't know, 100,000 people who dies after a vaccine. I was angry, but then I was still happy about my choice, because I was like, well, you know, what was I gonna do? Was I gonna just take the chance of getting rabies? Nope, I was not gonna do that. I was also scared that I had got rabies, and sometimes it seems people can get rabies from the vaccine even, so I was scared of that too. I was very scared, and I was very, I guess, well, in that first month I was just very scared and very sick. In the next month I got better, but I was still very depressed because I wanted to run, you know. I had built up my mileage when I was in Thailand, and I was planning on running a lot this summer in Norway, and I was looking forward to it for several months, and suddenly I can't run at all. I've just started running again, thank God. It's so much fun, but it was a long hiatus of like 3 months of no running. Anyway, so I was depressed because I couldn't run. I was depressed because I was just inside all day, but the second month I did get better. But still pretty bad. But I started functioning normal, like not normal, but half normal. I could go for walks, easy walks. I could go shopping, you know, with the car. I like shopping food. I didn't meet friends though. I couldn't have appointments. I got really I couldn't handle stress. I still struggle a little bit actually. So it seems to me that my adrenals are tired. I'll get into why I think this is going on a little bit later in the video. But anyway, the second month I got better. The third month things started looking better again, and now I'm pretty much, I've been functioning normal for about a month, or maybe a little bit longer. So that's good, thank God. I'm no longer sick, as in my immune system is no longer reacting the way it did, but I'm still having those extra heartbeats, which is very annoying. I have good days where I have almost none. I have bad days where I have thousands again. But it's one thing is for sure, it's gotten a lot better than it was, and I'm still improving. So I'm just looking at the long term. I'm functioning normal now, and who knows, maybe it'll take 6 months or a year to recover fully from this ordeal. Pretty crazy, right? Vaccines, man, they are so fucked up. But then again, they do save lives in certain situations, I guess. At least I think so. So why this was happening, I don't know. Again, there's the immune reaction and there's the heart. And I've been to the doctor. First of all, we checked, you know, is there anything else going on? We did all kinds of blood work, and there's no infection. My CRP, which is like C-reactive protein, which is a reflection of your inflammation level, was 0. So there's no inflammation going on. There's no infection going on, basically. No bacterial infection, nothing to find there. So the conclusion, even though the doctor is, you know, don't want to conclude anything, I concluded for myself that, you know, okay, this sickness, this flu-like feeling, this feeling like I was gonna die and everything was fucked up, that was probably my immune system reacting very strongly to the vaccine. But then there's the added thing with the heart, and then there's also this idea, this blood sugar and blood pressure thing, and almost feeling like I was gonna faint and all that, even though my electrolytes were perfect. I think that somehow, in my mind, that has to do with the nervous system and or hormones, possibly. So maybe my adrenals, maybe my endocrine system in general is damaged by the vaccine. This is something we hear about quite regularly, people talking about vaccines causing damage. I read everything there is to read about studies done on this particular type of vaccine and other vaccines, and I've spent hours and hours reading about it. And it's difficult to conclude anything, but I kind of see it as somehow I think my nervous system must have gotten some damage done to it. Possibly my endocrine system, as I said. Anyway, the curve is going the right direction. The first few months I was, you know, pretty sick, but then I had bad days and good and bad days, but then slowly getting better and better and better and better. And on the long term kind of view, I'm pretty good right now. But still have some way to go. I don't know about the heart thing. I've done ultrasound, so my heart is structurally fine, and I have an appointment for like on a bicycle, like EKG, like checking the heart while I'm on a bicycle. I also done a 24-hour Holter monitoring, which checks my heartbeat for 24 hours, and everything comes back normal, even though there's nothing. It's obviously it's a problem, but a lot of people have these issues with these extrasystolic beats and arrhythmias. It's quite normal in the population, and it seems like the general scientific community doesn't really know exactly what causes this, and we're still in the early stages of learning about it. So no one can seem to give me a good answer about why and if I should worry or what's going on. And it's quite alarming because I want to get into, you know, I have some dreams in terms of ultra running, and I really want to run a lot. And it's not the best thing to have problems with your heart if you're getting into endurance sports, but hopefully it's not going to matter. We'll see, you know, if I die, I don't know. I hope not. I don't think so. I think it's actually safe. And we'll see now when I do the EKG on the bike and see if they see anything in relationship to, as I increase my intensity on the bike, if that also increases the heart activity. If it does, then that might be a problem, but if it doesn't, which I don't think it does, it should be fine. There's nothing structurally wrong in the heart, as I said. Anyway, this is a long video, but yeah, if you're watching, it means you're interested in this topic, and maybe you're interested in hearing about my story, so I appreciate you listening. It feels good to share this. Just quickly on the end here, a little bit about vaccines in general. I think as with everything in life, there's like a pros and cons kind of valuation that you have to do, and I'm generally against vaccines in the sense that I think we're over vaccinating for sure. We're taking too many vaccines, but then who am I to say? I don't see the whole picture. I don't think there's anyone out there with an evil intention to vaccinate everyone so that they can fuck up everyone's nervous system and they can be drones and zombies. But it might happen, and unconsciously going on at that level still. So in that sense, you could say it is true. Because I do think that there's a lot of damage done by vaccines. It's really not healthy, obviously. I mean, people have the worst reactions. People die after vaccines. I got really sick. Most people are fine, though. Fine, whatever that means. Definitely damages our health. But then again, if it's that or death from rabies, I know what I would have chosen, and I know what I did choose. And I would choose it again if I got in a similar situation. I think generally what has to happen is that on a personal level we have to be very skeptical. Not because we think someone is trying to harm us, but because we know that the general scientific development in terms of vaccine hasn't gotten very far. It's gotten far from where it was, and it has solved some health problems, eradicated certain diseases, etc. But we're still, learning. Everyone's still learning. So we have to be skeptical, and we have to ask ourselves, is this really necessary, this vaccine? Do I really have to take this vaccine? Will I die if I don't take the vaccine? And you have to sort of measure that up against the possible negative effects of the vaccine. On the other hand, we also have to realize that the scientific community, as I said, is still learning about vaccines. And I think the idea of the vaccine is good. It's essentially like teaching the body how to react to a certain pathogen, but it probably does more damage than good in some cases, in a lot of cases, partly due to how it affects the immune system, but also partly just due to how there are things in the vaccine that are not good. Just quickly, in order to avoid that situation though, I want to avoid being in a place where there's dogs like that, and I personally think that if there are loose dogs like that, we should kill them all. I'm serious. I'm a vegan, but I'm also a realistic human being. I don't think we should have dangerous animals walking around, killing people, biting people, hurting people. They are a hazard, and we should kill them all. But that's never going to happen. of course, I would do so. If I was mayor, I would be the crazy vegan mayor who kills all the dogs. Controversial, I know. We don't have to talk more about that, but I think from now on I'll probably have a little pepper spray or something. I think that's the best option. The other option would be a taser, but I think pepper spray is a good alternative, where I'll just bring a pepper spray when I'm running in areas where there's crazy dogs, and then try and defend myself with the pepper spray. But then again, it's difficult. You gotta hit the eyes, and fighting with a dog is not fun. It is not fun, and there's a lot of dogs in Thailand, but mostly you'll be fine. Just don't turn your back to them, don't run from them, turn towards them. Maybe I'll make another video where I'll talk about how to deal with dogs, because it's actually an important topic. Anyway, that was my experience. So vaccines, difficult to say. You gotta just make your choice depending on the situation. I don't think you should probably you should avoid going to places where you risk deadly diseases. I mean, malaria, dengue fever, these things, they're really not that dangerous if you're a healthy person, and chances are low that you will get it anyway. And dengue fever, there are no vaccines, and malaria neither, but you have to take these pills that can make you psychotic. I did it once and did fuck up I was very strange for those weeks that I was taking the malaria pills many years back. So I feel like if you get malaria, you do what you need to do then. If you get dengue fever, you do what you need to do then, which is basically just rest and stay hydrated and all that. Whereas with rabies, same thing. I don't recommend taking rabies vaccines because you're going to an area with lots of dogs, but I do recommend, if you are getting bitten by a dog and there's a chance of rabies, even if that chance is just like super tiny, I think I would take the vaccine, but you have to make your own choice. I know I would take the vaccine. I did take the vaccine. So you got to make your choice, but don't want to risk dying of rabies. So I'd rather be sick for a year than dead forever. I'm getting better. I'm feeling good. I have great health these days. I feel really good. I'm running again. I'm building up my weekly volume once again, slowly but surely. I had to start almost from scratch. Not always, not from scratch, but I had to go back and just start building it all over again, which is fine. I'm happy to be in Norway, safe and sound. Needless to say, I have no desire to go to Thailand again anytime soon. Not just because of the dogs, but lots of things. I'll make a video about that as well, pros and cons about Thailand. But right now I have my vision towards some other destinations in the world, and we'll see how that goes, and I'm sure you'll be updated about it because we'll make lots of videos about it. I think I'll also make a video about vaccines in general, because I think that could be a good topic. But now I'm promising too many videos, and I generally make videos based on spontaneous inspiration rather than planned topics, so we'll see. Thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate your time listening to me rant, I guess, about this situation, this thing I've been going through. It's been hard. It's been really hard for me, but I managed to pull through it. Support it from my family, just taking care of my health as usual, and I've gotten out of it stronger, and I've learned a lot, even though parts of my body is still damaged, and who knows, maybe I'll be damaged for life in certain respects, but still better than dying of rabies, which was a possibility. Remember that if you're keen on a more personal interaction, we also have Patreon. If you go to patreon.com, I'll put it's a link down in the description. We have a more we make monthly Q&A videos for all our supporters there. You can ask your question, you get your question answered in a video. You can send us messages there, we'll answer you, and we prioritize it over YouTube, because YouTube, there's so much activity on YouTube that it's sometimes difficult to get to it all, but on Patreon we're still able to sort of answer everyone and get back to everyone. We also make monthly hangouts where you can talk to us live. So if you're keen on that, go over to Patreon and check that out. We sure do appreciate everyone supporting us on Patreon. If you're watching and you're already a Patreon supporter, thank you so much. Makes a huge difference for us. And yeah, that's it for today. I'm gonna get on with it. It's a beautiful day, and I'm gonna go out running. I love running. Alrighty. Hope you're having a good day, and I'll see you around.